It's with Tom Lanny, car number 47, NASCAR Charger. Tom, how you been doing so far this year with this car?
This is my about 5th time out, and we finished in the semi. We've never made it to the main yet, but I hope sooner or later we will, before the year's over.
Before the year's over. How's the car handling for you the last 5 times? You getting better and better at it?
Yeah, it handles real good.
Any major adjustments?
Tire problems is all we have.
Is that right?
Yeah, a lot.
What's the problem with the tires?
Flats, getting hit, busting them down off the rims.
How about pressure? Yeah, the right pressure, wrong pressure in there?
Well, we think we might have been running a little bit too low.
Yeah.
You know, it's about 12 pounds.
Is this your first year racing?
Yeah.
First time ever?
Yeah.
You're a rookie this year?
Yeah.
So you having a lot of fun?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Who's sponsoring you this year?
Banks Transmission, Fralick Quilts, and Vicky's Window Coverings.
Good. Tell us a little bit about this car. What kind of car is it?
It's a
powertrain and so forth?
72 Chevelle, and it's all 350 Chevy, 400 turbo transmission, and that's about all there is to it.
You have a pit crew out here with you?
Yeah.
A bunch of your friends?
Just friends, yeah.
Are you doing any good in the point standing at all? Have you gained any?
No, I don't think so.
So in other words, this year you're just trying to get the feel of it and maybe come back next year a little bit stronger.
I hope so.
You hope so?
Yeah.
Well, Tom Lanny, good luck to you out on the racetrack. Keep it out there in the safe lane tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Good interview, Tom. Jack Jacobs once again. I'm in the pits with dwarf car driver from car number 6, John Kane. John, you've got an awful lot of feature winner stickers on that car. Are those feature wins of this year?
Yeah, well, let's see. Since this car first came out in about June of last year, so that's since June. And I've done pretty good. I didn't get too awful many last year, but I've done pretty good this year.
Yeah, how's the car handling? Evidently pretty good.
Real good. Yeah, it's running good and handling good.
Are you the guy to beat out on the racetrack?
Well, some people think that. I don't know. I try pretty hard anyway, so.
You're from Phoenix?
Tempe.
Tempe.
Yeah.
Are you a married fella?
Yeah, afraid so.
Is your wife out here today?
Oh, yeah, my wife's here.
What does she think of your racing career?
She likes it. She likes
Very
it.
supportive of it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Any kids?
Yeah, I got 2 boys and a girl.
They like Dad racing too, huh?
Oh, yeah, yeah. The youngest, she's 21. So
21?
My 2 boys, they drive occasionally.
You don't look that old,
huh?
You don't
well,
look that
I'm not, really.
You got married when you were 8?
Oh, yeah. Started out young.
Who's sponsoring you, John?
Well, I've got Cactus Goodyear. They help me out a fair amount on the tires. And Arizona Motorcycle Salvage there in Tempe. That's where this motor came from. And this motor here has been the one that's been doing the winning. I had 1,000 in it and blew it the first race out here. And went back there and got this 1,100. And it's been running pretty good ever since then.
Tell us a little bit about the automobile itself, some of the background on it, when you built it, and how long you've been racing it, and what kind of car is it, and so forth.
It's a 38 Chevy. It took me about 3 months to build it, and working at nights after work and whatever. And it's a lot of work, but if you enjoy it, you know, what the hey.
Yeah. How long you been racing?
I've been running a dwarf car probably about 3.5 years.
Have you raced before that? Any other division?
I raced back in Ohio.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but I've been out here since '63 and hadn't raced anything up until about 3 or 4 years ago.
So it's stayed in your blood, huh?
Yeah, kind of stuck there, but there was nothing that I was interested in racing that I could afford. I wasn't interested in a bomber situation or anything like that. Couldn't afford a midget or a sprint or anything. And these things come along, and that's why I got one.
Are you having a lot of fun?
Oh, ton of fun.
Sounds like it.
Yeah,
well, listen, you're always out front, top contender here at Raven Raceway. I notice you out there all the time.
Well, yeah, I go as quick as I can go.
You can always look up front and see John Kane there. Good luck to you out on the racetrack tonight,
all right,
John.
Thank you.
All right.
You bet.
Good interview, John.
Hey, lights on.
I'm in the pits with, they call him Rapid Roy Gibson, and in late model number 61. Roy, where'd you get that name, Rapid Roy?
Oh, several years ago. The name actually comes from Jim Croce's song, Rapid Roy, Stock Car Boy.
Oh, is that right?
And I liked it, and so I just kind of picked it up.
Roy, you're looking better and better each time I see you out on the racetrack. Have you made a lot of major adjustments from the beginning of the year toward the end here?
We kept getting a little better and a little better. Then we'd hit the wall and we'd have to start over again a couple times and
make new adjustments.
It's really the fact that we're getting to race so many times this year is really helping us out, get a lot of seat time and everything.
Having a lot of time involved in the car during the week on your off time.
Oh yeah, it's always quite a lot of work.
Quite a lot of money too put into the automobile. Huh?
Yeah, it keeps us on the shoestring.
How about Jackie? That's your wife, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, did she help you out on the car at all?
Tremendously.
Right?
Of course, she used to drive the cars a few years ago, and she helps me out quite a lot. You know, as a matter of fact, you know, we rebodied the car. She did all the lettering on the car and everything this time.
That looks like a real professional lettering job. It is a real professional lettering job. Looks like you took it into a shop or something. Very good. Who's sponsoring this year, Roy?
Okay, I work at Royal Automotive, and the major sponsor of mine, along with Copper State Towing and Big A Rogers Automotive Finishes, is sold through the Big A parts stores, and they provided us all the paint. And as a matter of fact, the Big A stores used to have a salesman, and he's the one that paints the car for me, and he does a real fine job for us. And of course, Quaker State gives me the oil. Chuck Gibson owns the 94 car, and he's a Quaker State representative here in Tucson.
Okay, now is Jackie Gibson your wife?
She's my wife.
RV Trophy?
Yeah, she works for RV
Yeah, I
Awards.
met her. Real nice lady. Real nice lady.
Yeah, she has been working there about 5 years, and
yeah, she does a good job over there. So what's it look like as far as points go for you this year? Are you holding your own pretty good? What place?
I haven't been paying attention, but I really seriously doubt if I got any place in the points at all. You know, we just had too many DNFs, and it hasn't been.
Just had a little bit of hard luck this year, huh?
And it takes a lot of special effort to chase points and stuff like that. You know, I'd rather come out here and try to win each race or whatever than try to chase points.
Well, you got a good attitude. You got a real good attitude.
I'd like to just say that we took the car when we wanted to make it. We found a Grand National car that we liked. It was Buddy Baker's. And we thought, well, we'll try to copy the design of that car and try to make it look like that. And it came out pretty nice and everything. And of course, Crisco sponsors the Buddy Baker car. And Chuck Gibson's wife, that Loretta Lynn, came up with, she does Crisco ads on the television, so she came up with the name for the car, which is Loretta.
Okay, I was wondering, your wife's name was Jackie. I was afraid to ask you why Loretta was next to you.
That's the name of the car, and we put it on the inside there.
Oh, that's good to know. We might announce that up there. And that's why the reasoning for the white color, because of Crisco, I
imagine. We just wanted to copy that car because I liked the way it looked and everything came out. It came out real nice, and we were real happy with it. And then we just kind of came up with that name for the car. We thought all those Grand National drivers named their car, we might as well too.
Well, Rapid Roy, you're a good competitor out there, and you put on a good show. And we're really glad to have you out here. Good luck to you in the future in your racing career.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good interview, Roy. Nice to meet you, too. I'm here with Herb Penrod in NASCAR Charger 777. Herb, haven't seen this car out here too much this year.
No, we're just getting started. It's something new for us.
Is this the first night you've been out here?
No, we've been out, this will be our third night out.
How you been doing?
Having as much fun as we possibly could.
Is that right? How about competition-wise?
I got 1/4 in the semi.
That's not bad.
No, it's for first time I ever been on a circle track. This is my 40th birthday present.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, my wife thought I needed a birthday present, so she got me this.
Are you a rookie this year? I mean,
green.
This is green.
This is the first time I ever been on a circle track.
Yeah, you're having a lot of fun though, huh?
I love it. Yeah. I love it.
You have any sponsors for the car?
Well, Breakfast, that's my company, and it's paid most of the bill. Dan Humphreys of Engines Etc. put together the engine, and John Banks put together the transmission. My brother and some friends, Bob over here, they've been over here giving us a lot of help and just trying to make it run. We picked the car up, it was put together when we got it, and we just been trying to figure out some way to get around the track.
So your wife actually purchased the car for you though, but
yeah, this is my birthday present.
Or she just
it was put together. She bought a car that was running, and we just tried to make it so that where I thought I could make it get around the track.
Now, did you put all the roll bars and everything?
No, it was in it.
It was in it.
They were in it. We got the car. It was track ready, but it just wasn't quite what we wanted.
How's it handling so far?
I love it.
Are you you making any adjustments, or you got it to where you want it to go?
I don't know. I've changed the springs out again this week on it. I'm going to try that. I think if I was driver enough, I could win races with it.
Yeah. But
this time,
you are having a lot of fun.
I love it, man.
You're going to be out here quite. It sounds like it's in your blood right now.
I was raised at a racetrack, and I never did get to race until now.
Yeah.
My dad raced, but I never did race till now, and I love it.
Good. Well, Herb Penrod, good luck out on the racetrack, and I'm sure you'll be one of the top contenders out here with the attitude that you have.
I want to be.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on out to Raven.
I appreciate being here.
Good.
Your attention is called front and center, the man who's made it all possible here in 1987. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Maness.
Ladies and gentlemen, nice to see a good crowd tonight. Stars in the skies, which nobody believed because the phone must have rang 1,000 times today, but we got that under control. George and them are headed out for the flags. We got a very special guest tonight. I'd like you all to give a nice round of applause. George and Debbie Carlson, Vicki Lynn's mother. It's real nice to be able to share what's coming up next week with the family. As racers, as fans, as business people here at Raven Raceway, we're all very proud that we can have the first annual Vicki Lynn Memorial this year here at this racetrack, and it's going to be designed around the thought of children. Debbie, our hats off to you for giving so much of your life to our kids too, which I think is very unusual. You and George and the families endured for all of us, and not just yourselves, and I think that's something that is very special on this occasion. We're going to be very proud to do this. We're going to be very proud to have you involved too, Debbie. And Debbie has something she'd like to tell you right now involving a raffle we have going on out front. I would like to say that Performance on Engine Unlimited, Jim Throckmorton, who sponsors Carl Trimmer, sponsors Rick Sipes, sponsors Jamie Throckmorton, sponsors a whole bunch of race cars out here, builds the motors for him, bought a BMX bike out here. It's going to be raffled off. It's got a $1 ticket on it. And from Engine Performance, I say thank you to them taking a little time to get involved with this for next week, too. Be sure and get some raffle tickets. Debbie will give you a little idea of what is available up front. Got some real neat prizes, so I'll let her explain it to you.
First of all, I'd like to say thanks, Dave and Linda, for having the Vicki Lynn Memorial Race next Saturday. I'm also very proud to be Vicki's mother and to be a part of our children's future because of her tragic death, we've been able to make some changes for our children, and they are our future, and we want to make this a safe place for all our children to live. So thanks for supporting the Vicki Lynn Memorial, and thanks just for supporting our family. It really means a lot to all of us. Well, what I'll tell you about our raffle is we're selling our raffle tickets for $1 up front by the concession stand, and some of the prizes that will be raffled off next Saturday night at intermission time will be the BMX bike that Jim Throckmorton so just wonderfully donated today. It'll be the BMX bike. We have a barbecue gas grill from Southwest Gas. We have a $600 pair of Western boots donated by the Bootery, Jackie and Gerald Johns. We have a weekend for two at La Paloma, donated by Cottonwood Properties, Mr. George Mill. We have 2 rounds of golf, donated by Mr. George Mill at La Paloma. Nice prizes, real nice prizes. So we will be raffling these prizes off next Saturday night just for $1. That's all the cost to you. The proceeds will go to We the People. For those of you who are not familiar with We the People, it's the citizens group that was organized after the tragic deaths of 3 children in this state within 4 months of one another. We've done a lot of changes. I have some brochures down on the table. If you want to have any further information, it's all in our brochures. Also, right after we have our raffle, we're also going to auction off several other prizes that we have, which you will be able to see next Saturday night at intermission, and you'll be able to place a bid on those prizes. And the money for those prizes will also go to We the People. So if you'd like to purchase any tickets, I'll be up front by the concession stand throughout the race, and they're $1 a ticket. And once again, I'd like to say thank you to all of you. And let's remember that this is not just a time to remember Vicki Lynn, but it's also a time to remember the children that we have with us right now and the things that we can do to make this a safer place for all of our children. Thank you.
Debbie described the auction we're going to have. Don't miss it. We're going to have a whole bunch of prizes out here, and we're going to let you literally bid on them. All the money's going to We the People. We're trying to raise around $4,000 or $5,000 for We the People for legislation. I think we're going to do it right here at Raven Raceway. How about everybody standing up, taking off your hats? Carolyn, if you'd do the honors over here. Boy, they don't think it's sticky out here tonight. You can't even move your feet. Okay, girl.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much, Carolyn. Watch your feet there. You're going to get stuck. We're getting ready to go. Got a little announcement to make to you. We got 51 Chargers tonight. What a field. How about a Charger, people? We got, I believe, 14 dwarf cars. We got 22 late models, and definitely we put Tucson, Arizona back on the map of racing because of you spectators. I want to thank you once again. Keep it up. We got a few months to go, and let's keep racing here like we got it. How about now, right hand plug for Debbie and George one more time. We'll talk to them at intermission again. Want to thank them for their involvement because they do care. They're here. And thank you to all you people up there from last week's conversation I had on being a good sport on a lot of ways. It showed last week. Keep it up. Tom and Jack, we're getting ready to go racing as soon as we get a flagman over here.
I still say Jim Baker has got an automatic replacement to take over his television ministry.
Sitter Terry Gibson is the man that sets the pace for these cars on their pace lap. Everybody to follow suit, stay side by side when George Camp looks at them as they come around turn 3 into turn 4. If they look good, George Camp will give them the green flag this time.
And it's a good-looking green flag tonight, too. Better looking than normal because it's brand spanking new. Sandy Camp spinning that out of her Singer sewing machine or whatever it is she uses this week. So we've got brand new colors and the first flying of the green. Jack, here they come out of turn 4. Let's see what we get off and running with here tonight.
Looks like Perry Duffick jumping right out in the lead down the front straightaway, Tom, and Terry Gibson falling back in the second position.
It's going to be interesting to see what these guys establish as far as a groove is concerned because, as Dave said, it apparently is pretty doggone tacky down there tonight. That's the perfect composition usually for these guys to come running real well in.
Here comes Terry Gibson once again trying to make a move on the inside of Dufek, but he can't quite catch up to Dufek as Dufek is looking mighty fine out there.
And a nice clean start for these guys.
Track's still a little bit wet out there.
Just a little on the squishy side. We lose a pair of them simultaneously back there in turn 2, but they're able to dive out of trouble in the process of getting lost in it. And then we get a real nice little clip right there with Butch McCleskey involved in the 36 machine coming out of turn 2, so that will produce our first cautionary yellow of the evening.
Dan Humphreys in car number 10 also spinning out and getting smacked in the front of his car as he tried to pull out of that one. And we've got one steaming to beat the band over there by the Winston Racing Series sign and the Miller Racing Team sign. So we've got about 2 of them right now. The one fella pulled out of the last one, so let's see if we can get, I don't know, it looks like Humphreys got it going again. He got smacked pretty hard on the back straightaway, Tom.
Leroy Johnson was having more than a fair share of trouble, Jack, between turns 4 and 1 up here, all the way through the grandstand area. He had gotten a little bit low of a groove out of 4 down here and really found the going slippery and slidey on the inside of the track. Tried to bring it up to the center area and wasn't able to do so because of the massive traffic behind him. So he was squishy up here, and just no more than that had taken place than we saw 2 of them go wild up there in turn 2, and then the entanglement involving that guy right there, Humphreys. I think I said McCleskey earlier. 2 cars do have a similar appearance. So it was Humphreys involved in that little tagging sensation out of turn 2 up there, but ought to have it straightened out here fairly shortly and off and running with, as Dave says, 51 of these Charger machines tonight. 22 or 23 late models and somewhere between 14 and 16 of the dwarf miniature racers here this evening.
What a field we've got tonight. And it looks like we're going to wind up with at least a semi-main event for the NASCAR Charger division with that many automobiles out on the racetrack.
Wouldn't be at all surprised. And those always turn out to be more than semi-fun, don't they?
They sure do.
I like them because it's kind of a grudge match period in the evening, kind of a bragging rights time.
Looks like Leroy Johnson from Tucson in that car number 28 is going to be out of this one, smacking up against the wall as you've seen on the back straightaway, and he's being towed into the pits right now or the infield by Gary's Towing. So once we get Leroy off the racetrack and the debris that you noticed on the back straightaway, well, it looks like he might have spilled some water. His radiator was steaming up back there. So as soon as they get that dried off, we'll be getting back underway. How many laps down we got, Tony Barrow? Just 1 lap down, so.
Tony, did you see the bear that was charging around here? That wasn't that neat and novel? Dave Manus was completely taken aback by that, surprised. I hope is the bear still around? I haven't seen him for, is it a he or a she?
It's her.
No.
It's her.
No.
That was her in that suit.
You're going to deflate my image of the bear by telling me it was her in the suit?
That's a female bear.
Come on.
No, it was a real bear. Got it from Randolph Park Zoo or Reed Park Zoo.
What are we going to call that sucker? It's got to be something to do with
That's
racing.
what the drivers turned her into.
A bear suit?
You know, into a bear.
Tony Barrell, you will, on occasion, hear in the background screaming out commands and orders and whatnot. She has the most unbelievable job as we return to racing green once again of keeping all of these cars sorted out as they make each and every lap. And I'll tell you what, Jack, they could train me for the next 20,000 years and I could not do that.
Slide around that corner like that?
No, keep track of them.
Oh, okay.
I have enough trouble with the top 3, 4, or 5. Consider it an extremely lucky race if I know the top 6.
Perry Dufek being challenged by Terry Gibson as they come through turn number 4, but Terry losing it just a little bit. But look at 97 Kirk Hall making a move in between them.
I think of the 3 grooves that were being set up, I would prefer his, as we've got 2 down in the early portion of turn 4, including a steamer. We're up there right now, so perhaps we have got a similar problem to Leroy Johnson's developed in one of those 2 cars up there. Herb Penrod and Ron Bishop are the involvees. Is that right? 777?
Involvees.
And there's Ron Bishop right there in number 98.
It looks like Ron came out on the best of this one because Mr. Penrod over there is steaming just like Leroy Johnson was on the back straightaway. And so is his car, right. So it doesn't look like Herb's going to be back in this one unless he can perform some kind of miracle. But Ron Bishop came out smelling like a rose, and he's back out on the racetrack, and he'll have to tag the field.
How has Don McMurrick there in the 06 machine managed to maintain such a state of cleanliness on that car?
He's just in the right place at the right time.
And by contrast, David Fox in the 0 Smurf car, what a mess. He needs to be at the Octopussy car wash.
A little bit dirty. Steve Neff in that 4 Sure car hanging right in there also. Umphris trailing the field. Now Bishop will be trailing Umphris. And is Bishop gone? It looks like he's on the back straightaway. Okay, he's still out there.
I cannot believe how well Frank McCann is behaving himself tonight. He is being a good little guy. Sitting here, being quiet, never misses a race. Has been coming out here for the better part of 15 years. Brings his fish pictures. Always shows us what fishing is like up in Oklahoma.
We have a race to see who gets out here earlier every weekend.
He always wins it, hands down.
No. I get him about 50-50 on it.
Really? Who's the other one? You?
He wins at the other 50. So they'll get 777, Herb Penrod from Tucson. And Herb sponsored by Brake Fast and Mobile Brake. And Herb would try to be back out here for either the consolation or semi-main event if he can get that car put back together. I don't know, though. It's still smoking, Tom.
It's amazing, though, how quickly they get them turned around. We saw it in the late models division just a couple of weeks ago when Sipes and Trimmer had so little left of their machines, particularly from the firewall up. Both the front clips were definitely gone, and the next week, not only were they returned, but they were very, very competitive.
Very competitive. That surprised me.
Leading in the race. I was shocked at that. I figured they'd come out and just hang steady.
Yeah, but they were real competitive.
Mid-packers for that first week back, but not at all. They went right to the front of the class and issued notice to the rest of the class, watch us.
Well, guess how many laps we've got down in this one?
Probably still one.
Still one.
1 lap down, 7 laps to go. The green flag is in the flagman starter George Camp's hand with Bob McKinley watching on over his shoulder. And here we go. Racing once again on a Saturday night at Raven Raceway. And we have got some close company between those two battling it out for second place, Jack. And the track is drying out just a little bit, ever so more with each and every passing lap out here. So these guys will be getting her dialed in very quickly.
We've got Don McMurrick stalled at turn number 4. The yellow almost comes out, but Don gets it back going. Let's see what happens here.
It's going to be fun watching him get out of that ooze down there in the lower portion of the track. So here comes Perry Dufik flashing by in the 14 machine. Kurt Hall piloting number 97 and looking good right now in second place in this one. And he's got company up there in turn 2, but he makes a nice pass to the high side, which is just about in the middle groove down the back straight. Then they do a little bumping and grinding up there in turn 3, get a little fishy, but they're able to keep it under control. And so it'll be once again Perry Dufik in the lead, followed by that guy right there, Kurt Hall in 97, Terry Gibson in 94 tonight, and David Fox in the 0 machine. Those are your top 4 NASCAR Chargers here as we start chipping away in our first 8-lap Charger heat race of the evening. Dufik got it all to himself right now, Jackson.
He sure does, Tom, and he's starting to open up the gap a little bit on Kirk Hall. Kirk's got his work cut out for him if he's going to catch up to him, because Dufik starting to pull away just a little bit.
Kind of smelled that one coming, but it looks like everybody's going to be in good shape. There was a salute, huh?
There was a little bit of a salute.
Oh my, we will be boys.
Looks like Steve Neff in that 4 Sure car. And look out, 14, our leader.
Leader in trouble up in turn 4. Gets side scraped, and look at the steam pouring out of that machine now. getting some strange reflections in this booth tonight, Jack. Watching him live in turn 4 and seeing him like on a replay and in turn 1. I'll have to break out the Windex, Linda.
Definitely some good racing action in this one.
Linda Lou. Somebody asked her tonight if she was Candy's sister. So you've got a swap at the top. Kirk Hall. Wonder if he'll have to pay an inheritance tax. If he's slick enough and quick enough, no. He'll get out of here before the IRS catches up with him on that one. Terry Gibson in second place. David Fox moves up to third, and Dan Humphreys in the 10 car gains up to fourth with Don McMurray. 0-6 rounding out your top 5 here.
Speaking of Dan Humphreys, Tom, now here's a guy that spun out earlier on the first lap, wound up in the back of the field, and here he's just hung in there, and he's now currently in 4th place, and also Don McMurray spinning out, and Don's holding on to 5th place right now. So,
if I'm not mistaken, Kirk Hall is the second leader in this race tonight. The earlier leader, of course, being 14. Steve Neff, I guess we'll have to redub that car from 4 sure to 4 maybe. Green flag time again, and here we go. Kirk Hall sets it up in the lead with Terry Gibson, David Fox, Dan Humphreys, and Don McMurray giving chase. The primary competition that's left in this one here this evening. Dan Humphreys ahead of David Fox now. They're running 3rd and 4th, Humphreys and Fox. Lap number 5 of 8. So we're chipping them right along and losing them steadily here. We got one down in turn 4, but he seems to have his own steam still cooking in there. So hopefully he'll get it righted in time.
He is stuck in the mud there, Tom.
George Camp's watching him awfully close now, leaning over the guard railing, and now he reaches for safety and brings out the yellow flag.
And speaking of flags, Dan Humphreys is going to get the black flag because he spun out twice. In fact, he caused the yellow flag twice, so that means he's going to be ejected from the race. Dan Humphreys in car number 10 will be out of this one with Kirk Hall in that 97 car, your leader right now. Terry Gibson in 94, currently in 2nd place. David Fox falling back to 4th place when Humphreys overtook him at turn number 1. Winds up holding on to 3rd place. And Steve Neff hanging in there on to 4th place right now.
So we've had 2 separate leaders, 1 black flag, and at least 3 yellow flags. And all here in our first 8-lap Charger heat race of the evening.
Well, let's see what they do with Ron Bishop and Steve Neff. If they juggle them around, that they do. So they're going to put Bishop up in front of Neff because the lap was not completed under a green flag. So Kirk Hall, car number 97, currently leads this one, as you can see, down the front straightaway. Gibson right behind him in that number 94 car. And David Fox just holding on to 3rd place right now. Looks like we've got the track cleared. I don't believe there's any more water, debris, or cars out there. There goes Humphreys getting the black flag into the pit. So he's out of this one. We've got 5 of them left out on the racetrack, just half the field from what we started with, Tom. So it looks like we're going to get the green flag this time.
Have a feeling we'll be doing green one more time here, and who knows, if it stays green, we'll be wrapping this one up very shortly.
5 laps down, Tom. 3 more to go.
So it's something of a dash for Kirk Hall and number 97 there at the top of the machine. Simonson Generator, Pro Tire and Wheel, Max Marine, and Hall's Mobile Home Repair Service. Looking real good as the sponsors of that 97 machine with Kirk Hall piloting tonight. Terry Gibson at number 94 still giving good chase out there. David Fox in the 0 machine. Ron Bishop in 98 trying to close things up. He may get an opportunity here as we get a little bit of a high drift by the Smurf machine in turn 4, but Bishop not able to close up all that much on him, and time really running out on him now with just a pair of laps left. We'll be white flagging him very shortly, Jack.
Terry Gibson making a real good charge on that back straightaway, trying to close up the gap from Kirk Hall. And the white flag is out this lap, Tom, so if Terry's going to do something, he's going to have to do it real quick because time's running out in this one. David Fox holding on to third place. Steve Neff trying to catch David Fox for that third position. But looks like this one's going to be wrapped up by Kirk Hall if he can just hang in there ahead of Terry Gibson in car number 94. Here they come, round turn number 3, down the home straightaway. Kirk Hall leads him on around. Gibson trying desperately to catch up, can't catch him. Kirk Hall gets the checkered flag as Terry Gibson in car number 94 comes in second, David Fox in third, and Steve Neff winds up in fourth place, following by Ron Bishop in car number 98. So it came a little bit close toward the end of that one, Tom, but, well, Kirk Hall in the right place at the right time once again.
As the Jim Brassfield number 3 NASCAR Charger coming off of the inside of row number 3.
Jeff Shinek on the outside of row number 3 in car number 63, driving for Doug Shinek tonight.
And I got a feeling we're going to go green, so Bob Langston, Bob Pennington, Colin Germain, and Barry McMurray round out the field here. And
your
sure
feeling
enough,
was right, Tom.
Mr. Camp is wanting to get them going, and look at that, Jack. 3 abreast, 2 rows worth coming off of the start in this one. Darrell Fisher getting a wild ride in that number 3 machine, escorted to the infield area, but he's back into the fray. And look who came through all of that mess up into turn 1 in grand style. Pierre takes the lead. John Banks in second place here as we approach the conclusion of the first of 8 laps in your second NASCAR Charger heat race of the evening.
And look at the move Lucky Larry Davis just made on him. About 3 of them jumping into third place ahead of Colin Germain.
Some fancy driving in the early on here in this one. Darrell Fisher still back at the rear of the pack after having gotten a little bit of a rough start in this one. Keep a close eye there on him and see how he's able to close it up. He's already notched 1. Let's see if he can make his way through the field and catch up with this guy right here. Your leader down off 4. Pass, start, finish. Pierre, John Banks, Lucky Larry Davis, and Colin Germain.
Colin Germain putting the charge on Larry Davis right now, trying to take him on the inside as they head out of turn number 2. They're side by side. Look at that racing, Tom. That's good driving by both these fellas.
Good looking race so far here, Jack, and I got a feeling, just a gut reaction, it's going to stay lean and green all the way through.
Something happened to Pierre on that last lap, Tom. He slowed that vehicle up quite a bit because here comes 3 of them challenging him right now for the lead.
Look at that trio of a charge in second place, and maybe not for long. 2 of them, including Lucky Larry, getting a little bit higher than what he would have liked, I have a feeling. Trying to go high. Banks was the other. Banks successfully so. Germain takes the low road, and both of them pass Pierre up, shoving Pierre from first to third. Banks getting higher than he would like up there in turn 3, but it looks like none the worse for him. And Colin Germain is now your leader with Pierre in second place, and Benedum, Larry Benedum, in the 141 machine, currently running along in third. Lucky Larry has regained enough steam to get it up into fourth place, and now he may go after Benedum and try to make it position number 3, but he's not going to be able to get it done just yet. Bob Pennington then in the number 15 machine is currently running 5th in this one. There's your leader, Colin Germain in number 7, followed by Pierre and Larry Benedum. Benedum now moves into second place by turn 1, and let's see if he can stave off Pierre there. Yes, he does. He in fact gets the job done and gets himself into a good-looking center groove coming out of turn 2. That has been a very treacherous corner all season long so far.
And I'm really impressed with this Larry Benedum in that 141 car, Tom. He hasn't been out here that much this year, and he looks real good out on the racetrack right now.
Right there in his first race ever, and you're seeing it live and in person here at Raven Raceway. That's part of what makes this such a special plant and a special job this year, as John Banks gets a little wild and woolly up there in turn 4. Still got his own steamer, and he will probably be able to get himself out of trouble here if he doesn't get stuck in the mud first. We've got a yellow flag once again.
Well, that will close up the gap between Benedum and Colin Germain right now, as Colin is your leader, and Pierre will hold on to third place. But there goes Pierre into the pits in that car number 25, having some kind of problem with that vehicle. Too bad, Pierre. So it looks like he lost the radiator, from what we gather. So Colin Germain will be your leader when this one gets back underway. Larry Benedum in car number 141, currently in second place. Lucky Larry Davis in third. Car number 45, Bob Langston, holding on to fourth place. And the car number 3, Darrell Fisher, in fifth place. So George Camp tells him one more lap around, and we'll see if we can get this one back underway. You notice that it's quite muddy and wet there at turn number 4 on the inside, and the fella's getting stuck there. There's your leader right in front of you right now, Colin Germain. Colin from Tucson, the certified auto electric car. Larry Benedum looking, I'll tell you what, this guy's doing one heck of a job for his first race. And Larry looking real good out there. Lucky Larry Davis not out of this one yet in that car number 77, Bob Langston in 45, also still in the thick of things. Car number 15, your current points leader here at Raven Raceway, currently holding on to 5th place. Darrell Fisher in 6th place right now. And Jeff Shinek in that car number 63 in 7th place. So George Camp looks at him, and I'll tell you what, Colin Germain is creeping him down the back straightaway. And they are really going slow. This is about as slow a pace lap as I've ever seen so far this year at Raven Raceway. Well, let's see what George Camp has up his sleeve. Looks like he's getting a little bit frustrated. See if Colin Germain has some kind of tactic that he's using. George takes his left hand and says, come on, fellas, let's get up here and let's go racing. Okay, into turn 3 they go. Off the number 4 corner. George Camp looks at him. The green flag comes out, the green lights are on, and we're back into racing again as Lucky Larry Davis makes a charge into second place right now alongside Larry Benedum. Colin Germain got his work cut out for him because he's got Benedum and Davis right on his rear. Here comes Bob Langston in car number 45 in 4th place. Bob making a surge to try to pass Larry Davis in car number 77. Colin Germain, still your current leader. Colin takes it on the inside. Larry Benedum goes way wide on the outside. The white flag's out by George Camp, and number 3, Darrell Fisher, spins it out in turn number 4. And let's see if Darrell can get that car back under his own power. Otherwise, it looks like the yellow flag just might come out. And it does. Yellow flag out. Darrell Fisher in car number 3 could not get that car back under his own power. Colin Germain would have had this one all sewed up, but we're going to get a white and a green once we get back underway. A little tough luck for Darrell Fisher running in 6th place in that car number 3. Good looking automobile out there. So it's going to be somewhat of a dash for our last lap here with Colin Germain out in front, Larry Benedum in 2nd place, Lucky Larry Davis in 3rd place, and Larry jumping into 2nd place as you've seen it at the green flag. Larry Davis making a real good move on the inside that time. Bob Langston is not out of this one by far, nor is Bob Pennington in car number 15. John Banks right behind Pennington. Jeff Shinek in car number 63, still in the thick of things as Shinek moves up toward the front. Well, Colin Germain likes to lead him around slow, as you can see, as Gary's towing puts the hook on car number 3. Let's see if he can get him off the racetrack and get this second heat race back underway. So we'll be going back to a green and then a white flag on this one, so that means a couple of more to go once we get back underway as they tow Darrell Fisher's car off the racetrack. The owner of that car is Jim Brassfield, and they're sponsored by Brassfield Auto Parts, Fisher Engineering, Auto Recyclers, H&R Construction, Auto Visuals, and Performance Engine. So car number 3 perhaps maybe back out in the semi or main event. We'll have to wait and see what happens. As looks like the tow truck needs a tow truck. It's awful muddy right there down that center groove, or the groove toward the outside of the racetrack. This is the widest 3/8 in the West. We've got more of a racetrack than most tracks do. Perhaps he had it in the wrong gear, I don't know. But anyway, he's getting him off the racetrack right now. Has the hook on him, and if he can get him in and Colin brings him around slow this time, we may be getting underway on the green once again. So Gary's Towing always doing a fine job here at Raven Raceway. I've used them before. If you need a tow truck, call Gary's Towing. Okay, George Camp, your flag man, looks at him once again. Colin Germain once again brings him around slow, brings him down the back straightaway at a really, really slow pace. Larry Benedum in car number 141 is going to try to put the moves on Colin this time. He's going to try to stave off lucky Larry Davis. Larry really making a good move last time. Let's see if Larry tries the same strategy as Bob Langston follows Larry in that car number 45. Okay, Colin Germain brings him around turn number 3. Into turn number 4 they core. And George Camp looks at him once again. Looks like we're going green. Green and white is out. That means one more lap for Colin Germain, Larry Benedum, and Larry Davis. Let's see what happens as Colin Germain leads him down the front straightaway. Here comes Bob Langston on the outside, overtaking lucky Larry Davis and Larry Benedum. So Langston now in second place, but here comes Benedum on the inside. Benedum heads in toward the wall. Up against the back wall he goes as lucky Larry Davis hangs in there into third place. Here they come around turn number 3 and 4. Back out on the racetrack they come. Colin Germain brings him down the front straightaway. Larry Benedum out of this one. Bob Langston winds up in second as Colin Germain wins his heat race in the NASCAR Charger division. Woo! Boy, I'll tell you what, that was almost disaster on that last lap, Tom, on the back straightaway. But Colin Germain winds up the victor on this one with lucky Larry Davis hanging on to third place. Langston held on to second place. So some good driving out there by all of these fellows. Who wound up in fourth place? 141, Larry Benedum.
And good for Larry in his debut.
Oh, I'm impressed.
Malindrone in the 48 Buick, not the year 48. And at the back of the pack,
Mr. Carl Trimmer in car number 74, the Spirit of Vicky Lynn car. So there you have it, Tom.
Looks like they've got him grooved a little bit differently. Looks like Malindrone will be starting last. And Trimmer sitting up on the outside of that 6th row, 5th row. It's been a long week.
Yes, it has. Look at that bright yellow flag he's got. That thing just looks beautiful.
There's no way the drivers can miss him now, right?
Nope, that's
There's
right.
no more. We'll have to take that excuse off our race drivers' excuse T-shirt. Because they cannot miss these new Sandy Camp flags at Raven Raceway.
Well, hold on to your ears because I think we're going green, Tom. What do you think?
They're going to juice it to us right about now. So here we go. Watch Rick Sipes in the 4-wheel machine. He's a two-time winner here at Raven Raceway. He would like to make it a nice round 3 tonight.
He does take the lead as he heads down the back straightaway, and boy, does he open it up.
Look at Moslin in my favorite little machine do a squirt number between 1 and 2. He had himself up to about 4th place and then lost a bunch in the back. Here comes Sykes very much in the lead. Wes Meeks and Cole Banghar giving the best chase right now. And they're a pretty good pace behind given the early circumstances in this our first NASCAR Winston late model chase of the evening. Rick Sykes all alone in the lead through 3. Here he is coming out of 4. He is followed by still Wes Meeks in that number 5 machine right there. Then we got a 4-car race for 3rd place, and who does it include? The number 74, Blue Circle West, the Spirit of Vicky Lynn, Carl Trimmer. And he's got his hands full. They're doing some tremendous side-by-side, fender-to-fender, bumper-to-bumper racing here. All but that guy, Rick Sipes, who's all alone at the front of the boys. Wes Meeks, Paul Banghar, and Marion Smiley. That's how they stack up positions 2, 3, and 4. They may as well be in a race by themselves right now. Now Banghar takes it on the low side out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway, and he's all alone in 3rd place. Rick Sipes continues to be your leader here. Now there's been a change behind him. Paul Banghar and Marion Smiley are running 2 and 3 in this one. Trimmer is currently in 5th place, and he has bypassed Wes Meeks now. Sipes out of 4, lap number 5, the start-finish gate, all by himself, and just about a half-lap lead. Maybe a quarter lap at least on Paul Banghar, who has got his hands full, and Marion Laughing Boy Smiley.
Looks like Dwayne Lang lost an engine, Tom, in that car number 88. He's in the pits and out of this one.
Sad to see that happen. Rick Sipes comes by on lap
that's for sure. He's looking real good out there. He took a good lead right from the start of this one, and he wins this first heat race for the NASCAR Winston late models. And I'll tell you what, whoa, look out there, Ron Lutz, in that car number 6. The mayor of Smiley Hill, or Stomper Hill, came up here tonight and told me that Smiley had that thing dialed in, and evidently he does, because he came all the way up from the back, wound up in 2nd place. Paul Banghar in number 71 in 3rd, and Ron Lutz in 4th place. Been since last June.
He's a kicker, and there you see him in dead last place in this one, so it ought to make for an exciting 6-lap affair. The green flag is in starter George Camp's hand, and I think we're ready to resume racing here at Raven Raceway. Our first look at the dwarfs tonight. They'll be back, if not before, then on the 17th of October. And you've got number 17, Darren Schmalz, putting the early power on this one and commanding the lead by turn 1 of lap 1. But they are ever so quick to change. John Kane in happy, still bringing up the rear of the pack as they approach 75, 85 miles per hour on those back straights. It is a form of open wheel racing, so you have that aspect of excitement in it. And when they interlock them, they're just like the big brothers, the guys in the USAC midgets and the Wings Super Modifieds who'll be out here tomorrow night. They tend to go crazy real quick when there is a miscue. Well, it looks like Schmalz has suddenly got Ryan Carr all over him, trying to snatch away the lead in this one. Let's see if he's able to get the job done out of turn 4. Not so, taking the low road. Ryan Carr has dropped off just a little bit. Now we've got 5 of them up there at the front of the pack, Jack.
Boy, we sure do, and it's anybody's race, Tom, as 5 of them challenge that car number 17 for the lead right now. They're seesawing back and forth, and yes, look at John Kane.
Kane putting the moves on the outside as they approach turn 3. There's one getting high and wide up in turn 4, but keeping it out of the wall and out of trouble. And Happy is right now technically running along in 3rd place.
We've got a fire there in car number 40 on the front straightaway, and that car is spilling. Oh, he better get out of that thing quick, and he does.
Wouldn't hang around too long in that one.
So we need the fire crew over there.
They're there and got the job done ever so quickly, as we've got another production of yellow flag here, and that's going to bunch up the survivors.
And I'll tell you what, he got out of that thing real quick, and do you blame him? Dan Dietmeyer in car number 40. Let's give him a hand for jumping out of that vehicle right away, folks. Woo-hoo!
Showing us his mom and dad raised no dummies.
That's right. Speaking of hot seats, he got a hot butt on that one. The Heckle car. And glad to see he made it out of that. And I'll tell you, as small as those cars are, Tom, it's a real job to get out quick.
It can be like sitting 3 feet in front of your fireplace in the middle of December with one too many logs.
Oh, yes. Even got some pictures of you, Dan.
Is it a full moon tonight or what?
I don't know, but it feels like a sauna up here in the press box.
I'm a little damp myself.
Well, thank goodness we got that fire out. Though the car number 40 won't be back in this one. Let's see. Who knows? He may be back in the main event tonight. We'll see. Have to wait and see what happens on that.
Hot time in the old town tonight. And that number 6 machine right there, John Kane, Happy, making a fast close on this one. Remember, he started dead last in this. Now he is running 3rd, and looked at the point in time where we went to our yellow flag here like he might be putting some serious moves on positions number 2 and numero 1.
Well, Darren in that 17 looking real good out there. He was holding his own. As you said, though, that Happy car, John Kane, always up front in these races unless he winds up into some problems. Coming up all the way from the rear.
We'll be doing a little music. We'll be doing a lot of questions. We'll be doing a lot of answers. We'll hear from Debbie Carlson and Dave Manus. Intermission, interrogatory time, and lucky program numbers.
Yes.
Called out at that time, too. So it's a busy and informal little intermission where you kind of feel free to parade back and forth to the concession area.
Now, they ran out of those programs for a while, but we've got them back, so we've got plenty of them. And so,
I thought I saw Dave eating one a little while ago.
No, that was last week's.
I'm glad it was an old one. good and stale for the old boy, huh?
$1.50, your lucky number program at the video booth.
Okay, attrition has eaten one away. We've got 6 left, and they look to be copacetic. Let's see if they impress George Camp. No, not this time around. He'll do them one more time. I think he wants that Gary's towing and company out of that area right there, feeling it's just a little too squirmish. Feeling if Dittmeyer got to that area so easily, maybe one of the rest of them could, and what remains of this one. I think, what, 5 laps, Tony?
4 laps down, 5 laps, Tony? 3 laps down.
3 laps.
Sure seemed like a lot more, didn't
I
it?
thought it was at least one more than that, but we'll call 3 laps down, 3 laps to go. We've reached midway. Green flag time, I think. What do you think? Yeah, let's go racing once again.
Well, Darren leads him down the front straightaway, but here comes John Kane on the outside. Look at that, Tom.
Kane was 3rd in this restart, the stands here. Now, temporarily, he was able to get into the lead, but then lost it back to Darren Schmalz. Schmalz and Carr and John Kane, your top 3 in our last 3 laps of this one here this evening. And here they come again. Schmalz has fallen off of the lead now to John Kane. So Happy has gone from dead last to the very front of the class. We lose another one to the pit field, so we are down to but a handful of dwarf racers left, and the best of the lot, John Kane, will come out of turn 4 down the home stretch here, looking at the white flag. 1 lap to go for him, and the question, Jack Jacobs, is can he stave off a rapid running Darren Schmalz, who's looked good this evening?
Well, Darren does look good, but John Kane looking just a little bit better as he has about a 4 or 5 car lead on car number 17, Darren. Here they come, Tom. It looks like he's going to wrap it up.
And Troy Corcus in 81 is a spectator in the pit fields as the checkered flag falls once again for John Kane. Darren Schmalz in 2nd place. Brian Carr unofficially in 4th place, right behind the big bad wolf. Ernie Adams in 3rd. So congratulations once again to the man down from Tempe tonight in that happy machine, John Kane. Your number 6 car in the win in this one. 17, Darren Schmalz goes 2nd. Ernie Adams in 24, taking 3rd place. And Brian Carr in car 27, rounding out your top 4.
Also from Tucson, outside 2nd row.
3rd row has Tucson and Brad Marble inside, with Michael Long also from Tucson on the outside in 07.
4th row inside, car number 71, Ed Fine, Mark Kuhn in 360 on the outside.
And the last row has Marvin Catlin in 595 and Dan Baldwin in number 95. And here we go, under the green again.
Well, Butch McCleskey in number 36 leads him on around as John Van Horn jumps in the 2nd place right off the front of this one. And John doing a good job in trying to go on the inside. Now he tries to go on the outside of McCleskey, but cannot get around him. And we've got one in the wall over there on the back straightaway. Looks like car number 26 to me. Let me put the glasses on him. Nope, it's car number 07, Michael Long. And the yellow flag comes out once again in this Charger division.
Michael not able to get it regrooved quickly enough, if at all. And so George Camp had no alternative but to reach for the yellow flag.
So we did not get one complete lap in this 3rd heat race for the NASCAR Charger division. So we will get a complete restart on it, I believe. A restart. That's the restart flag right there, that yellow and red flag, which means line them up side by side once again, and we'll just start this like it never started before.
Tell you what, this has turned into a really good coffee night here, hasn't it?
It sure has.
Raceway? I wonder how the brewski is downstairs.
It is good.
Have to head down shortly and find out, but a nice little breeze, nice little permeating chilly air. Almost chilly. Chilly by comparison, I guess.
And while you're down there getting a cup of coffee, pick yourself up one of those fondues.
Or
hot fudge fondue.
Steak fingers. I hear those are a sensation. He still got the shrimp boats?
Still has the shrimp boats.
Still got the Mexican cuisine?
Got all kinds of Mexican food down there.
Holy smoke. Bottomless beer wells and endless concession areas and the best food you could ever imagine at a racetrack anywhere. Not just in America, but anywhere. I mean, the food is indescribable here.
That it is. Looks like they're going to line them up single file, Tom, but they will be in the same position as they would have been when this race started, with Butch McCluskey in number 36 going to lead the pack. Uh-oh, here comes Ron down the stairway, and he's going to do a little shuffling around. Nope, they're going to try to get him side by side. Norman. Norm, I think you got to lead him by the hand.
Well, let's see if it works now, huh?
Dun-dun, dun-dun.
Oh, my.
Robin, you look bored tonight. Are you bored? No? Are you having fun? Oh, okay, good.
That's not McKinley, is it?
No, it's not. That's Norman. What's Norman's last name? Carlton. That's right, Norman Carlton. We'll have to remember that.
Who, when he's not here doing this sort of activity, is involved in firework in our town.
Side by side, Norm tells them.
There he is saying, read this flag.
Give them all a program, Norm. We've got the flags in the program.
Don't look at my lips, read my flag. Oh, are we having fun?
Uh-oh, here comes Mr. Camp out of the flag stand. Down the side. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
The cavalry George Camp has come to the rescue of Norm Carlson now, and they'll get it all straightened out. If they can't do it on their own, Tony Barrow. You hear us talk about her all the time. There she is, dashing down the steps now to get her list of how they should be cranking up to the officials' track side so we can get this one all sorted out. It's times like this we need a scorecard.
Yes. That's why you should get your lucky number program so you can line them up like we line them up here. Just $1.50, all kinds of goodies we're going to be giving away right at intermission time. So they get them all straightened out. They have to lead them by the hand. These fellas been racing all year. What happened this time, I don't know. The red and yellow flag that you see Norman Carlton down there in his hand tells these fellas that it's a complete restart. And look at that. Norman's going to push him. Push him, Norm! Ha ha! And then Norm, give up. Let Gary's towing handle it. Norm, a flag man, a fireman, and now trying to be a tow truck man. And the track looks a little bit tacky still out there. But anyway, McCluskey will be the pole sitter. And McCluskey will lead him around as they get 5.95. Marvin Catlin running once again. Does Marvin have it still going? Yes, they do. The red flag is out right now, which means stop, fellas. And Norman's going to walk down there and give them some kind of instructions. So they're checking out to see if one of the fellows has a fire suit on or not. These fellows are required to wear fire suits. And this is the Claimer division. If you want to post up $1,500 before the main event, you can own one of these cars and be out here racing next week, minus the harness and fire suit and helmet and the fuel cell, if they have a fuel cell. So we'll see what Norm has up his sleeve down there. He's checking out. Looks like he's going to check out Butch McCluskey. And he has, I guess he's okay. He has one of those Air Force type fire retardant suits on. So they were just concerned whether or not, did I say that, retardant? Am I correct? No. Retarded suit. Okay. Butch McCluskey in car number 36, your pole sitter once again. And Butch will lead him on around. And let's see. 5.95. Go ahead and push him, Norman. Attaboy, Norm. Get him going. Norman having a good night tonight. Did he get it started? We need a push truck out on the racetrack right now for 5.95. $5.95 being pushed once again by Gary's Towing, and he gets it started. So if he can crank it on around the racetrack, catch up to the rest of the fellows, we'll be back underway as McCluskey once again leads him around the racetrack. Gary's Towing pulling into the center infield on the back straightaway. Catlin, 5.95. Looks like he's going to catch up, so we may be going back on the green. McCluskey leading him around, just a tad faster than Colin Germain did on that last race. But Colin's tactics were very well because he wound up victor of that last heat race for the Chargers. Okay, 23M. Mulford on the outside of McCluskey. Van Horn on the inside, right behind McCluskey. Round turn 3 and 4 they come. Here they come down the front straightaway. George Camp gives them the green flag, and here we go racing again at Raven Raceway as car number 71, Ed Fine, hits the berm on the front straightaway but brings it back toward the center of the track and almost has another mishap. McCluskey leading Van Horn down the back chute. McCluskey headed for turn number 3. Van Horn goes on the outside. McCluskey keeps it on the inside. Now Van Horn brings it right behind him down the front straightaway. So it's a battle for 1 and 2 with McCluskey and Van Horn leading the rest of the field around. Here comes Brad Marble at car number 26 in third place. Van Horn goes way wide in turn number 1, brings it back down. McCluskey opens up the gap once again. Brad Marble in car number 26 being challenged right now by that car that needed to be pushed. 5.95 in 4th place. Do you believe that, folks? All the way up from the rear. Catlin moves into 4th place right now, challenging Brad Marble. Butch McCluskey has about a 4 or 5 car lead on John Van Horn. Here comes Marvin Catlin in 5.95 right on the tail of Brad Marble. Here he comes. 5.95 overtakes him on the back straightaway and keeps it on the inside as Brad Marble falls back. But here comes Brad Marble on the inside. Here they come down the front straightaway. Marble and Catlin, and looks like Catlin overtakes him as Marble falls back into 4th place. Butch McCluskey right now with Van Horn starting to close it up just a little bit. 3 laps down in this one. Lap number 4 coming up as McCluskey leads Van Horn down the front straightaway. Van Horn really pouring it on, trying to catch McCluskey. Here comes Marvin Catlin trying to catch Van Horn in 3rd place. Brad Marble holding on to 4th place, but Ed Fine challenging Marble in that car number 71. Once again, McCluskey leads him around turn number 3 and 4. John Van Horn closing it up just a little bit each lap. Everything looks clean and green, but we've got Ed Fine in car number 71 stalled over by the Budweiser sign at turn number 2, and that will bring out the yellow flag once again. 4 laps down in this 8-lap 3rd Charger race, and McCluskey will have company on his rear right now, Tom, with John Van Horn. Glad to see that yellow flag out because Van Horn looking real good out there, just needs a yellow flag or something to close it up, and he will give McCluskey a run for his money once that green flag comes back out.
Be interesting to see just what kind of a strategy change we get here now that they have bunched up. Van Horn was running real tight behind McCluskey, but those two seem to be all by themselves, and now it'll give the likes of Marvin Catlin, who looked like he had gotten himself out of perhaps some car problems and looked like he was ready to go running real good. He'll be doing it from the 3rd position now with Brad Marble there in number 26 and Daryl Mulford in 23M over from Marana. Your top 5 currently: Dan Baldwin, Willie Russell, and Mark Kuhn round out the 8 that are left here.
Well, I'll tell you what, Marvin Catlin in 5.95 coming up all the way from the rear, passing just everybody, and really starting to close the gap up on Van Horn. And now it's going to be real interesting to see whose race this really is, whether McCleskey can hang on or Van Horn or Catlin can catch him. McCleskey with somewhat of a new paint job this week, doesn't he?
I think so. New primer, at least.
I'm going to step out a minute here.
Why don't you? Preserve your reputation. Keep it intact as a man who steps out. McCleskey, 36, Van Horn, 1, Catlin in the Fashions 5.95. Brad Marble. Mulford in the Marana machine, 23M. Green flag is in starter George Camp's hand. Third look at the NASCAR Chargers this evening, and you'll have a lot of looks because we've got some 51 of them in the field here tonight. Almost 90 cars starting tonight's racing here at Raven Raceway. And can it be the 6th of September, 1987 already? Can we be just a week away from the Vicki Lynn Memorial, which we've been thinking about and talking about all season long? Here we go, and there goes Catlin taking the low road, almost 3 abreast as we restart here. John Van Horn on the outside, Butch McCleskey in the center, and now Van Horn is in the lead. Can he hang on to it, or will McCleskey claw his way back down the back straight, which is exactly what's happening? Van Horn falls into second. Catlin is running, continuing in third place, and Marble rounding out the top 4. Here they come again, laps clicking away in this one. McCleskey in the lead, Van Horn, Catlin, and Marble, your top 4. And then Dan Baldwin in that 95 T-Bucket running along behind them as Van Horn gets a little wild and woolly up there in turn 2, and Catlin slows down for him so as to not get involved in it. And that could be a costly strategical situation for him. Only time will tell as McCleskey now really takes advantage of the situation and pulls away from that trio of cars right there in turn 1, battling for position number 2. McCleskey all by himself coming up on the Budweiser turn 3 sign. And the white flag now will be flown for he and the rest of them, indicating 1 lap left in this one. And it would appear to be Butch McCleskey's all the way. His 360 gets himself out of here. Heading off to the pit field, Mark Kuhn will spectate the rest of this one. Not that there's a whole heck of a lot of it left, especially after Butch McCleskey, Catlin getting a little high, Van Horn a little high up there in turn 2, but they're both able to come out of it without any serious damage. And so McCleskey will take the checkered flag in this one. McCleskey, your winner. Marvin Catlin comes from late in the pack to finish in second place, and John Van Horn takes third, just ahead of Brad Marble.
And Van Horn looked like he might have had this one sewed up, but just couldn't get ahead of McCleskey or Catlin on the back straightaway. Van Horn losing it and having some handling problems in turn number 4. So your winner of this one, here he comes down the front straightaway, folks. Let's give him a good hand. The car number 36, Butch McCleskey.
Also deserving of a fine hand, I think, is Marvin Catlin in 595. He started out in 9th place in this race and wound up taking second place. 36, McCleskey left from the pole and wound up winning it. They were rich, Jack.
Yes.
We'd probably be racing in every division out here.
That's for sure.
It surely do get in your blood, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of folks in the stands tonight. I know of one right off that I am positive it's gotten in the blood. In fact, she wants to come racing. We are racing once again, dwarf style.
Oh, look out, car number 47 being smacked by 72. That's Glenn Posey. But Glenn gets it back out on the racetrack. Ooh, that was close, Tom.
Well, these guys clip along at a pretty good pace. They kick about 70, 80 miles an hour out of it down the back and front chutes or straightaway areas.
I'm wearing off on you, huh?
Which means they cranking up pretty good by the time they get them up into these turns. Mighty Mouse continues to be the mighty down in first place. Frank Wright with some thoughts about perhaps getting up there in the main fray. Likewise, Bob Atterbury in the Pink Panther car number 12. Frank Wright, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, is machine number 2. But right here is Larry Hall, Mighty Mouse, in the lead in this one. Frank Wright still trying to close it off. Even 2 in second place up into turn 1. It looks like he's able to close a little bit of ground off on that lead car as Mighty Mouse found himself, I think, a little bit higher than what he would have liked to have been up there in turn 2. So it's cost him some footage or yardage.
Went a little bit high in turn number 4 that time also, Tom.
Into our third lap we go with Frank Wright and Bob Atterbury trying to close it off on your lead car. The Mighty Mouse, as piloted by Larry Hall here this evening. Having his troubles back here at the back of the pack, Glenn Posey has decided to retire, number 47, into the pit field.
And look at that Pink Panther, number 12, headed for the lead right now as he's challenging Larry Hall in the Mighty Mouse car.
He's giving him a good charge, both of them running along right now in that center groove out there. Well, I guess maybe number 12, Pink Panther, has dropped off to the inside groove just a little bit, and it may have paid off for him too, because he has snatched the lead away from Mighty Mouse and then relinquished it just as quickly over there in turn 3, coming in second place out of turn 4, but running awfully close to Mighty Mouse right now, and we are in the white flag lap, ladies and gentlemen. This would be it. Let's see if Atterbury can close it off in that number 12 car, or if maybe Frank Wright can better himself from the current position, number 3. The checkered flag is out for your dominator throughout most of this one. Mighty Mouse with Larry Hall at the wheel taking the checkered flag. Number 12, Atterbury in second. Frank Wright, number 2, taking third place. Art Mankel in 76, fourth. John Proctor and Jim Allen rounding them out. 6 survivors in this one.
Well, as you said, Tom, Bob Atterbury in car number 12 snatched the lead away from Larry Hall just for a moment, but could not hold off Hall in that Mighty Mouse car.
Safely take this year's fleet of these NASCAR Chargers and multiply it times at least 2, and that's basically what you're going to have in 1988 out here.
I believe that.
A lot of Chargers.
I really believe that.
I think we'll see some new late modelers. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a bunch of new dwarfs added to the field in 88. Green flag in starter George Camp's hand, and here we go again. Jackson there coming down out of turn 4, and John Fetter has got to like that feeling. Pamela Fetter's got to like that feeling too. The Fetters are in front.
Don Hall in that 766 car is in third place, but Don being challenged by Gary Williams right now as Gary slides into third. And look at this. Husband and wife team right now leading the pack. I like to see that.
Be interesting if she can close it up on him to see how they treat one another out there in fender-to-fender high-speed stuff. As Benedict is now putting a move on in the Bounty Hunter, and he's up in fourth place right now. George Benedict, the bounty hunter over from Wilcox tonight. He and his newcomer brother Larry in the field tonight. Good to have the Benedicts here. And I trust George had a happy anniversary last 31st. Fetter.
The Fetters hold their own right now. Look at Pam starting to close up just a little bit on her husband, John. And John leads her on around, but here comes Benedict in 111.
Yep. He has planted her right into second place by turn 3 back there, and then loses it back to Ms. Fetter.
And John almost loses it at turn number 4, but gets it back under control. Down the front straightaway they go. Fetter on the inside, Benedict on the outside, and Benedict trying to put the moves on Fetter right now. They're side by side down the back straightaway.
Looks like George is going to get the better of it, taking the higher groove of the 2 and taking over the lead in this one coming out of turn number 2. George Benedict, the bounty hunter from Wilcox, in car number 111, now in the lead with John Fetter in second place. And then number 12, machine of Gary Williams, running third, just ahead of Pamela Fetter and Sheila Van Hoff.
And Sheila making a charge, coming up all the way from the rear in 5th position right now. Sheila challenging Pam Fetter in that car number 18.
So it's been an interesting stack, so to speak, for Pamela Fetter right off at the top in this one. As far as who you compare with who's running with her Boy, look at Pennington chewing it up now. Holding up a big lead on both the Fetters. Fetter and Fetter, partners in racing. What do you think?
Pam jumps back into third place. Right behind John.
Drops off to fourth. Sheila rounds out your top 5. And back up to turn 4. Here comes your leader all by himself, George Pennington. With that much of a lead right there on Fetter and Fetter. And Williams and Van Hoff.
And look at Pam push her husband right now in turn number 1. Gives him a little bit of a bump. Oh, one more to go for George Benedum.
Good feeling right now for that guy. Over from Wilcox again, the bounty hunter. Better and better, Williams and Van Hoff. In your white flag lap. Larry Artman. Tom Lanny. Also still in the field, but the checkered flag is out, and a good-looking checkered flag it is, too, thanks to Sandy Camp. Here they come down out of turn 4, and it's Benedict all the way in this one at that 111 machine. John and Pamela Fetter, Gary Williams and Sheila Van Hoff.
So George Benedum wins this 4th heat race with John Fetter coming in 2nd place, Pamela Fetter in 3rd place, and Pamela putting a good charge on. Gary Williams in that car number 12 hanging on to 4th position. Sheila Van Hoff coming all the way up from the rear in 5th place. So there you have it. Let's give him a good hand, folks, at car number 111, George Benedum. Row number 5, David Henkin and Ray Wilson from Sierra Vista on the outside of the 5th row in car number 79.
And down from Yuma tonight in that car number 241, Rick Miller to round out the field. It's an 11-car start here at the beginning of this one. And I don't know, is this the 5th or the 4th Charger heat race this evening?
5th race, believe it or not.
5th. I've completely
Charger.
blown a 4th then. Oh well.
Last one was a 4th.
Always better to have my 5th than my 4th. Not necessarily to have my 4th before my 5th.
Todd Izzo brings him on around and takes the lead right off the green flag and down the back straightaway with Gordon Sams in 23 moving up into 2nd place. And Izzo being challenged by a whole bunch of them over there at turn number 4. That's number 48, Tom. Mike Shalbay in 3rd place right now. Just behind Shalbay.
Izzo and Sams have been a couple of really good Chargers, pardon the expression, out here so far in this inaugural 87 campaign. So with them, this much of an early on lead, it's going to be tough for anybody left in that pack to catch them. But you know, to a T, to a dotting of the I, everyone out there thinks they got a good shot at it. And that's what makes racing what it is. Look at David Henkin having a good time there in 69, right in the thick of things, to say the least. Getting a bit of a rub from the right rear quarter panel of John Watson's machine. And that opened up a gap for Henkin, and Henkin went right for it, just like going to the juggler. He said, hey, you're going to give me an open lane here on the inside. I'm going to take it. And it's good enough to put him in 5th place in this one behind these two, Izzo and Sams, in that order. And I thought maybe we might see one of those before the evening was over. These guys were running real close to one another. And sure enough, it's brought out yellow here with an entanglement out of turn 4. And one down, looks like the Izzo machine, Tony Izzo, in 02.
Well, some good driving there, though, Tom. 6 of them were almost abreast at one time. And they all made it around one lap, just a little bit too close coming through turn number 4.
I want to say a special hi to Alan Higgins, who is a part of our Raven Raceway family tonight, all the way over here from San Jose. And a happy number 27 to you, Mr. Alan Higgins. And good to have you in our racing family here tonight. Come back often. Do you know the way
to San Jose? Where was that?
That's it.
San Jose.
San Jose.
San Jose, huh?
Uh-oh, look here, Jack.
What do we have? Oh,
your plea
boy,
worked.
They heard me.
Your plea worked, and you've been brought some lovely coffee. Here's a guy from CDO, as a matter of fact.
Why are you bringing me Sweet and Low? Do I need it? Oh, okay. Why did they call it Sweet and Low?
Congratulations, fellow, on your football team's first victory of the season last night.
Who was that, Miami?
Linda Manus on the announced tower Ramada, enjoying herself as well as she should tonight. She, like Dave was talking about earlier this evening, is showing that look on the face, a little afterglowish, if you will, that, hey, here in 6 months' time, we're having fun.
Ah.
Oh, look at that. Is that god-awful?
That's beautiful.
Nose pressed to the window. Now we will have to get out the Windex, Linda.
Uh-oh, there goes 62, Bill Harless, into the pits right now.
Uh-oh.
Why the yellow flag is still out, Tom, is because they're trying to get them sorted out, as you can hear the officials in the background.
They do get a little hot every now and then. Boy, that's an
Look at these sparks on number 30 coming out from underneath his hood.
Awfully,
look at that.
Awfully good-looking machine over from Eloy tonight with Danny Hancock at the wheel. I trust that's the brother of Mike Hancock, one of our very efficient late model handlers.
Well, let's see if they've got them straightened out. I don't think so, because I still hear some more official noise in the background. Not official noise, but official noise.
Official noise. I like that. So we've got music, lucky program numbers, Dave, and some very special guests coming up at halftime, or intermission, or interrogatory time, whichever way you prefer to look upon all of it. But we do, at any rate, we do it very informally as you help yourselves to and fro our concession area. We just kind of take a little half-hour break from it all to talk about things, get some questions that pertain to racing or racing machines or racing-type people. I got a question.
Yes?
Where do a racer hang out after a race?
At a tailgate party.
And after the tailgate party, where do we hang out then?
Anywhere you want.
But
Anywhere you feel
especially at Tucson McGraw's, high atop the hill on Houghton. You're invited to do likewise.
Well, there goes Norm Carlton down on the racetrack once again, trying to straighten these fellows out. Want to give everybody the same equal opportunity. We're an equal opportunity racetrack.
Norm heard that and just shook his head.
Oh, a drum roll. Did I hear a drum roll?
Yeah, it was a snare drum. He's looking to see where Norm, it's time to get the hell off the track. He was
well, maybe we'll go green.
Squatted down like that to see what was producing the sparky stuff under John Watson's machine.
Shame on you. Okay, folks, 2 laps down in this 50-lap race. I just wanted to see how many we're going to look up here at the press box. Now, it's 2 laps down in 8-lap race. I gotchas, huh? Wondering, when is this going to end?
Camp said, I don't have flags to cover that many.
Okay, here we go green again as Todd Izzo in car number 2 leads him down the front straightaway. Look at Izzo go. But he's got company with Gordon Sams in 23 right on his tail, Tom.
Gordon Sams, the one with that slogan on the rear of his car that says, "Follow me to Raven Raceway." And that's what a bunch of them are doing. Unfortunately, John Watson does not count himself in that category, sitting high and dry inside turn 2 up on the infield lip. Gordon Sams giving the best chase to Todd Izzo right now. David Hinken thinking about closing it up in that 69 machine as well. So let's see. We're able to stay away from the yellow, with that car being out of the way up there in turn 2. Izzo and Sams continue on running 1-2 in this one. We're still under green, but these guys are pretty much all by themselves.
Oh, he's got it going, Tom.
At the front of the class in this one. So let's see if he's able to droop it down off that lip in decent fashion and also not in the midst of a whole bunch of traffic here.
Is that David Henkin in third place right now? It sure looks like it.
Yeah, he's been closing real good, but Sams has fallen off in second place on your leader, Todd Izzo. And Sams is now going to have his hands full with David Henkin, sure enough, in the 69. And there's the other Izzo, Tony Izzo, in 0-2, running along unofficially in fourth place now with Danny Hancock there, over from Eloy in the 73 machine. As we go to yellow one more time, we've got one lost into the rail up there on the silver bullet side of things. So this will bunch him up again with Todd Izzo in the lead, Gordon Sams giving chase, David Henkin in third, Tony Izzo in fourth place, and Mike Shalvey, guy in trouble up there in that 48 machine right under the silver bullet sign, and he's about to get a bump or push from Gary's Towing. We haven't talked about Gary's Towing in a long time with regard to what happens if you've had one too many.
Gary's Towing will tow you home and your car too. So if you have too much to drink, check with one of the guys from Gary's Towing, and they'll be glad to give you a ride home. I don't know, do they have to sit on the tailgate or something?
I would think so. I think if you get in that lousy a condition, oh, look who's talking. I went prone on Jack one night up here in the old announce tower. Jim Beam and I had a class reunion one night. Holy smoke, he won.
Yep, Jim Beam was in the bottle and Tom let him out.
Yeah, and Jim was in the bottle and Tom was in a stupor.
You don't drink anymore, do you?
I don't drink any less, and I never drop a drink.
Boy, did I set you up on that, huh?
I dove right in, too, also, huh?
Yep. Well, it looks like Danny Hancock in number 73. Right behind Ray Wilson, that Wilcox car, or Sierra Vista car, rather, number 79. Currently in fifth place. Let's see if Ray can make his way up toward the front. Look at that.
Green flag's ready, and we flat. George Camp says, let's go racing. I'm getting bored. Let's get this sucker cooking along. And Todd Izzo says, hey, I couldn't agree more. Gordon Sams, David Henkin feel likewise, and those are your top trio of drivers in this one. Tony Izzo is in fourth place now, so the Izzo boys are running 1 and 4 in this one with Sams and Henkin sandwiched in between. The number 6 lap will leave us a 2-lap dash from here on. Lap number 6 with Izzo continuing to command in this one. Uh-oh, is that the Hancock machine puffing a big poof of smoke and drifting off to the pit fields?
Just informed that Mike Hancock's driving that car tonight instead of Danny.
Really?
Yes.
Son of a gun. Going both ways on us here tonight. Well, maybe I would guess Mike is probably working out the bugs in it. And also letting what I understand is the younger brother in on what the nuances of that new racing machine are. So it's Danny's machine. Brother Mike is doing the operating on it tonight as Todd Izzo racks up a checkered flag here in this heat race. Gordon Sams and David Henkin wind up behind them, and Tony Izzo through the mud and slush winds up taking fourth place unofficially in this one. So, an interesting finish, to say the least, for Tony Izzo.
He barely made it.
Almost lost the full position there, and he's got some steaming coming out from the grill work on that machine. So I have a feeling Gary's Towing, you're going to have to do the cavalry charge to the rescue.
Let's give him a good hand, folks. Car number 2, the winner of this heat race, Todd Izzo. Oh, good job, Todd. Todd always a real charger in the Chargers.
Billy Bortko, your weekend guy over at Cold, Channel 13. He and Kevin McCabe have both had extended to them invitations to be a part of our future celebrity racing, and we anticipate their arrival at the next time out. Ivan Russel on the pole, and we've got green, and we've got a bump. A wild bump up here for Mike Hancock in turn 4, from which there is no escape, except a wild spin into the retaining wall up here. There'll be no damage done to him, thank the Lord, but the car is a perfect mess. And he is doing a little bit of a limp, so I think maybe he got jostled around inside that machine. It was a terrific looking situation, Jack, to say the least. He got an initial bump that I thought he might just be able to pull away from, unperplexed and unproblemed. But then suddenly a second bump was just a little bit too much, what with the momentum that he had going, and so it became a wild ride, a spinning ride for him, sending him into the retaining wall up here. And they're doing some spraying under the hood, either as just a precaution. He's got a bit of a limp there, but I'll tell you what, that charger over from Hancock all the time, week after week after week. What a guy he is, sponsored by Hancock Towing and Garage in Eloy, the Valley Auto Parts in Eloy, the Eloy Pickers, and Snap-on Tools, those people from here in Tucson. So he'll get a precautionary going over by the ambulatory people. The car will spend a week in intensive care and no doubt be right back here looking lean and mean and ready to go racing under the green once again, hopefully by next weekend for the Vicki Lynn Memorial. I'll tell you what, it would be a sad situation to have enjoyed all of his antics this season and then suddenly see him relegated to spectator status for our really big Vicki Lynn Memorial.
Boy, a shame, Tom. I don't like to see that, especially all that damage, and I don't like to see him limping around like that. But they're going to check him out right now, the Transmedic fellas, and make sure he's okay. Sorry to see that car all smashed up, but like you say, he's a real competitor, and he'll be back out here. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. A little bit of damage to the front end of that vehicle. Well, he's over in the ambulance, folks, but let's let him hear it. Mike Hancock, car number 73. A real charger here in the late model division. Okay, it'll be a complete restart, Tom, because we did not get that first full lap under the green flag, so everybody else on the outside will slide up one. Should be Jack Moore on the outside of Russell this time, looks that way. Gibson will be on the outside of Cocott, Throckmorton on the outside of Townsend, Brassfield on the outside of Mitzner, and Billy Brandon on the outside of Terry Green. And as you can see, Mike Hancock will not be back out the rest of this evening anyway. Well, that's part of auto racing, Tom. We don't like to see it, but this is somewhat of a dangerous and challenging sport, and it does happen from time to time.
It's like the slogan that is scripted on the back of one of our winged super modifieds so profoundly professes, it happens.
I'll tell you what, the fire crew was right on top of the whole situation. They were doing a fine job here at Raven. They were Johnny on the spot.
They're a good crew, as Dave talked about before tonight's racing in our hot lap session. I know he's very proud of them. And he watches over every aspect of this so close, it's indescribable. And that's the way it's got to be, especially when you're in a startup situation, as that man right there waving him around was at the beginning of this season, which was just a scant 6 months ago. I still remember that Saturday night, number 4 in April, when it all began here at Raven Raceway.
And that man there, Gary from Gary's Towing, with the shovel in his hand, just jumping in anywhere and everywhere he can. A really big asset to Raven Raceway this year.
Doing it all. They put up $50 out here one night as a surprise, unannounced, to he who took the most hot laps.
Well, they're going to give him one more time around, try to get the water dried up just a little bit where Hancock lost his radiator and everything else on the inside of that, or the outside of the racetrack up against the wall. Dry it up a little bit so these guys don't go sliding around and wind up in the same way Hancock did. So the puppies, as Tony Barrow calls them.
She does stick with that terminology, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. That's one of our track scorers up here.
And a pretty fair bear.
And a pretty fair bear. A hairy bear.
8 of them left. Ivan Russel up front. Jack Moore beside him. Here comes the green again. Let's go racing one more time. They get off to a flying, cooking, swellish start in this one. Cocott and Moore going side by side through turn 1 and up in turn 2, trying to close it up on Ivan Russel in the Coors Light Silver Bullet. He's up front. Got a little bit of a goose back there from Jackie Moore in turn 3. Jack Moore and Ivan know he's got company. I already knew that. Jack Cocott at 94 looking good again. He's been in the victory lane one time so far here in this inaugural campaign, and you can bet like Rick Sipes he'd like to be back there for a second time. Terry Green got his hands full at the back of the pack in this one right there in the number 14 machine between Brassfield and Rapid Roy Gibson. They're at the back of the pack. The trio up front continues to be Ivan Russel, Jack Moore, and Jack Cocott.
We've got one spun out just beyond turn number 2. The yellow flag comes out because George Camp sees fit that it's a dangerous situation.
Good thing, too, because we had another one down and still do rear-ended up into the infield under the Coors Light sign back there.
Well, that was Jim Brassfield in turn number 2. Looks like Rapid Roy Gibson in 61, Tom. I've got the glasses on him right now, and he's up on top of a mound on that back straightaway, it looks like.
Yeah, he got a pretty good toss inside the driver's compartment in that. He went sliding in there at a pretty good pace backwards, and boy, when that rear bumper took a hold, it just shoved it right up over the big mound back there. So while Brassfield was down in turn 2, it turned out being Rapid Roy Gibson down going into turn 3. So let's see if Gibson gets his power back. Brassfield was able to. Brassfield, you see there, coming around and tagging on behind Terry Green in the O'Reilly Chevy number 14 machine. They are, of course, at the back of the pack. Ivan Russel continues up at the front, followed by Jack Moore, then Jack Cocott. And now they'll be bunched up as we come out from under this yellow. Remember, it is an 8-lapper. And behind Cocott, it's Townsend, then Throckmorton, then Green, and Brassfield. Those are your 7 remainders.
Looks like Billy Brandon is also out of this one in 55. Mike Leitzner in 12 is gone.
Joining Hancock in spectator row, and Rapid Roy might be
back out here, Tom.
We'll just have to wait and see if he's got any steam left in that machine after that rough ride backwards and up into the infield area.
Roy wanting to do a little off-road track tonight.
Roy is a mechanic when he's not doing this. So if he's got any problems, he and his lovely wife Jackie, who own the machine, will probably pull a lot of the kinks out of it themselves.
And I interviewed Rapid Roy Gibson tonight. And Roy, with a real positive attitude about racing here at Raven Raceway, his wife supplying all our trophies over at RV Awards, as you see at the billboard on the turn number 4. And hey, he's got it going.
His own juice. Well, that's awfully good to see. Probably shoved a bunch of dirt up into that machine, so that's one of the reasons why he wants to blow around here as fast as possible, clean as much of it out as possible so he doesn't run into an overheating situation on some super component part that he's got to have in order to stay in the thick of this one.
After he hit that hill, I wonder if he's going to have to get that car Midas-sized. No, I don't think so.
I don't see any loose parts or anything back there, so
Neither
they're
do I.
in single file and coming around at Ivan Russell's pace, which is not all that slow at all. It ought to make for a swell-lacious start, though, coming out of turn 4, Jack. The green flag is all curled up in starter George Camp's hand.
I'm going to listen to you outside and see what it sounds like.
Absolutely. Uh-oh. No. We thought we could, wanted to, but George saw something there at the last minute that did not excite him and turn him on. And so he turned them off and keeps the yellow out. He wants to get something resituated here. Officials talking over something that they have just seen. That's the communication going on with our trackside officials. But here we come again. They stack up pretty doggone good. Good enough that George Camp says, let's fly. And Russell says, okay, guys, here I go again. Jack Moore and Jack Cocott running 2-3 in this one. Robert Townsend in 98 getting a little slippery and slidey up there in turn 2, but able to keep it under control and good for 4th place in this one. Here comes Russell out of followed by Hancock, Townsend, and Brockmorton with Terry Green next in line. Your top 6 is how they stack up here. Brassfield and Rapid Roy back in the back of the pack. Cocott puts a charge on, makes a move up in turn 3 on Jack Moore, but is unable to get the job done. It's Ivan Russell, Jack Moore, Jack Cocott, Townsend, and Brockmorton. Your top 5 in this one. Terry Green trying to close things off in the single file restart. Almost getting a pass back there now, but not quite so. Townsend is able to stave him off and take the lead up into turn 3 on only that position. And now, too high and wide and 4, and Brockmorton buys him off on the inside and into 4th place for Brockmorton. Cocott running along in 3rd. Jack Moore is still in 2nd, and Ivan Russell, of course, your leader in this one. Here comes Russell in the lead, followed by Moore and Cocott. And now Brockmorton is running along in 4th place. He has moved ahead of Robert Townsend. We are looking at lap number 7 of 8, so the white flag will come out. We've got 1 lap to go for that guy right there, Ivan Russell in the lead. Now Campbell or Cocott pulls it off, or even Brockmorton for that matter. Cocott's got his move on inside turn 2, but once again unable to surpass Jack Moore. So that's how they stack up, coming out of 3, now out of 4. Ivan Russell is your winner. Jack Moore takes 2nd place. Jack Cocott able to hang in there for 3rd, and Brockmorton rounding out your top 4, all unofficially, of course. Let's give him a big, warm round of applause. Ivan Russell in the Coors Light machine, right there, number 17, putting her in the win column one more time.
Tom, I don't think that they make speakers or amplifiers big enough to hear us when these late models are running. I want to tell you, they put out some noise, even down the back straightaway. It's really loud. But
4 of the top 5 at the finish in this one were sitting right where they were at the start of it. Can you imagine that? 8 laps later, 17 was right where he started and wins. Jack Moore started 2nd, finished 2nd. Cocott went off 3rd, finished 3rd. Rapid Roy, had he not had his problems, might have been a 4th place finisher here, but it was B52 instead of 61, so B52 gained a couple of notches from whence he had started. And Robert Towns, ironically enough, who started 5th, finished 5th here in this NASCAR Winston late model heat race number 2 of the evening. Camp motioning to the ambulance driver up there behind the Bud sign to tuck it back just a little bit because he's thinking about racing green and now can't. Saw something down there he didn't like.
looks like Lanny was jumping the gun a little bit, number 47, and Camp balls him out just a little bit. Ambulance out of the way right now, heading in toward the infield, so looks like George is just going to go with what he has out on the racetrack right now, Tom.
It certainly does look that way. It looks like McMurrick and Chalvet at least are not going to be in the field. That'll be a good stance for Porter and Pierre because that all intent and purpose gains them 2 positions right off the top here. So we've got the green all set to go. Missing a lot of the guys who are supposed to be a part of this for whatever reason. And as we find out, if we do, we'll relay that information along to you. But for those who have congregated here, here we go. We've got the start of racing in your NASCAR Charger consolation race. And look at the move put on by Pierre in the early on the outside of this one. moving him all the way up to second place by the end of turn 1 and up into turn 2 with Tom Lanny in 47 in the early lead. Pierre is giving chase, and boy, I'll tell you, it's a tight stack up behind that. Still in the very early on of this one. 1 lap down of a 12-lap affair. Tom Lanny and Pierre running 1-2 right now in this one. But Pierre has got his hands full with traffic coming up on the inside up there in turn 2, and he's also got a problem in that it's a pretty steady stream of smoke emitting from the tail end of the Pierre machine, who has now dropped off to third place after having moved up into second place in this one. Darrell Fisher getting a good early go at it here, is all the way up to first place. A move he's been able to put on, dropping Tom Lanny back into second place, and Pierre, who was as high as number 2, running number 3 right now. And Pierre is still emitting a trail of smoke. Darrell Fisher looking good in the 3 machine with Tom Lanny right behind him. Then Pierre, and followed by Rick Miller out of Yuma in 241, running along in 4th place in this one, trying to survive the smoke screen that is being put out by Pierre. But they're pretty staggered up at the start, Jack.
That they are, Tom. I'm trying to sort them out here for you.
Fisher flew into the lead awfully quick, didn't he?
Oh, look at Pierre really smoking up a storm as he comes down the front straightaway. The battle between 62 Harless and 63 Shinek going on right now as they're side by side around the racetrack.
And also with traffic right around them.
Looks like Jerry Porter and Barry Foster having their own little race.
Darrell Fisher beginning to pull away from his nearest competitor, Tom Lanny. He's up by about a quarter of a lap right now. And Pierre staggering along in 3rd place. Rick Miller, again out of Yuma, in 4th place as we've reached the midway point. We're halfway through. 6 laps down, 6 laps remaining in your Charger Consolation.
That's an engine or a tire rubbing or what on Pierre's car. He's got quite a bit of smoke pouring out from that machine.
Leaving a good trail of it up here in the light in turn 4. Harless going by in 62, so he and 63. Showman have now separated themselves. They were going
look out.
Great there for a while, side by side, fender to fender kind of stuff. A little wildness up here in 4, but they're able to come out of that under control, and so we keep it under the racing green, our favorite way. And right now it's the way Darrell Fisher likes it best too, in that number 3 machine, because he is flying in the lead in this one. Right there he goes, in traffic, passing other traffic. And here is his closest competitor coming out of turn 4 just now, and the laps are really beginning to click off in this one. Pierre now is not smoking, or if he is, it's just a little bit of a trail of smoke compared to what he was spewing out earlier on. Back to the lead car. Darrell Fisher here in 3, coming out of 4, coming up on Bill Harless. Lap number 9 of 12.
And Pierre is now currently in 2nd place with Lanny falling back to 3rd, and Lanny trying to catch up, and there's Pierre smoking just a tad more coming down the front straightaway.
So it's just a couple of more circuits to go for you here, and then white flag time, and who will be in victory lane in our consolation? Well, right now it would be Darrell Fisher. And let's see, Borriello could bunch things up. If we stay lean and clean and under the green, then my money would have to go on the Fisher machine. Pierre raises his hand and takes a hike, and off the pit field, tough going from 2nd place to no place. Darrell Fisher gets the white flag. Tom Lanny will regain 2nd place in that 47 machine, but he's a distance behind. It'll be Fisher all by himself in this one, as the checkered flag is now prepared by George Campbell. Here's your 2nd place car. Darrell Fisher, your leader in that 3 machine, bringing it out of turn 4 and taking the checkered flag in this one. So congratulations to Darrell Fisher. Tom Lanny winds up 2nd. Rick Miller and Bill Harless will go 3rd and 4th unofficially in this one.
Well, it was Darrell Fisher's race all the way in that car number 3. Just about led the whole thing. Lanny was in third place. Pierre had second, all sewed up and looked like he might have had some engine problems, so Pierre wound up into pit field in that car number 25. So Lanny overtook him and wound up in second place. As you said, Miller in third, Bill Harless unofficially in fourth place in this 12-lap consolation race for the NASCAR Chargers. More racing coming right up.